3, 2, 1. It's a liver shot. Back at it.
All right, this is episode 2. It is February 23rd, and there's been a lot of news in MMA this week. So we decided we're going to get together. We're going to go through the middleweight division, talk about some of that news from this week, and we'll recap the very first ever UFC on ESPN card. So we'll start out with the middleweight division, and one of the fights that was announced this week is an interim title fight between Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum. And I think that's the fight to make.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of interim fights, too many interim fights lately. Interim belts all over the place that haven't amounted to everything. I mean, Tony Ferguson had an interim belt. Yeah. He's never got a title shot. Colby Covington had an interim belt. He never had a title shot.
They're in the same weight class, too.
Right. I think that this scenario is the correct scenario to introduce an interim belt. I think that these are the two guys you have to have in that fight because they were both, in different ways, promised to be the next contender. Kelvin had the fight lined up. He had done the last season of Tough with Robert, and it was made publicly announced that the winner of Silva and Adesanya was going to get the following title shot. So that's these. I can understand other people are also deserving, but I think these are the two that you have to put into it.
I think the tough thing people are having with is this interim belt came so quickly after Whitaker got hurt that they don't understand the real reason for it. Yeah, it's a shame Whitaker got hurt, but like you said, it makes sense. Gastelum did his job. He was ready to fight, ready to go. Israel just beat Silva. Next in line anyway. Hey, we need to keep the middleweight division moving because something else, they don't want to risk Gastelum or Israel getting hurt. Now we're down 3 of our top 5. Now we got to find a new middleweight fight because then you have an open belt and an unclaimed belt. So I think it's the right fight to make also. I think absolutely this could be a monster change in the division with that fight alone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't object to it being so soon after Whitaker's injury. The last official heavyweight title fight was July of 2017. There was going to be a rematch in June. Yoel didn't make weight, so it wasn't a title fight. Then they did the Tough season.
Which
so that takes another however many months out of it. So the belt has not been fought for going on 2 years.
Yeah. So there's no time to play.
You got. I think that's why if you know that he had to drop out of this one, he's going to be on another extended injury leave. You go ahead and say, well, we're bringing in the interim title, and then he'll fight that, whoever's holding that whenever he's cleared to fight. As far as how the fight goes, what do you think?
So, 2 different complete fighters. Again, I mean, Gastelum and Whitaker alone were different fighters. I think Israel's overall just uniqueness and what he throws in his timing is going to really give Gastelum a challenge to keep up pace-wise because I don't think Gastelum has the best tank in the middleweight as far as not just physical ability. I know everyone gives him a hard time for being kind of chubby, but I don't think he has the cardio. But Gastelum can be a tactician. He can be basically a map figure-outer where he's finding your path, figures out what you're doing well, tries to stop it, then he puts something new in. It's 2 guys that are going to try to trick each other, and it takes one of them to fall for it, I think, honestly. I think Israel can come in there, overwhelm him, or Gastelum can play his game, and just one wrong move by Israel will be put out. Because Israel's been knocked out in glory, doesn't mean he can't be knocked out in the UFC.
Yeah.
Same with Gastelum.
I think Israel has not fought anyone as good as Kelvin Gastelum yet.
Agree.
I am surprised to see that Israel is older than Kelvin Gastelum.
Yes.
And I think it's been like 6 years since Kelvin won Tough.
Yes.
So he's been in the UFC for 6 years.
Young.
And he's younger, and he has only a couple more fights than him, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. But I think Israel will win this fight. I think that Kelvin also is not the cream of the middleweight division.
Yeah.
And I think Israel is going to be good enough, but I think he's going to be tested harder than he has. And I think Kelvin is a smart fighter, and he will do anything he has to use his advantages.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for the fight.
Absolutely.
And where it goes from there. I don't know if they'll have a interim title defense prior to Robert Whittaker coming back.
Yeah.
I think if Robert Whittaker does come back in July, August, like he's expected to, whoever wins this fight will probably just stay.
That's what people got to remember. Whittaker's not going anywhere. It's just an injury relapse. He, like when he fucked his leg up with Romero in the first fight, and then came back again and then beat him again, which was even skeptical. Whittaker's going to be around the division for a while. Gastelum's going to be around. Probably Israel's going to be around. These guys are not going to fight just once. They're probably going to fight many of each other several times. Mm-hmm. So people got to remember that in 6 months from now, we could see even some better lineups in middleweight fights.
So another fight that is scheduled to happen in the middleweight division is Yoel Romero and Paulo Costa. I believe this fight was scheduled for November. What happened there when it fell through? Do you remember?
No, I don't know if it was a mild injury or they couldn't get it together for the booking date, but this was already scheduled prior and then had to be canceled. There's been a lot of canceled fights that people were looking forward to that had to wait. I mean, but it's still happening. That's the thing.
Yeah, there was not too much going on in the middleweight division until this week.
Yeah, you had Rockhold and Bisping, and then Bisping retired. Then it kind of got quiet.
Yeah, this was the only fight that I was interested in, period, in the middleweight division until this week. But I think it's going to be a good matchup. We've got this athletic freak who's super young. He's undefeated in Paulo Costa.
The eraser.
And then you have this athletic freak who's old.
Who's 41.
He's lost 3 times in his entire career, and twice have just been his last 2 fights to Whittaker.
Yes.
I guess they're not his last 2 fights. 2 of his last 3 fights, I think, which were to Robert Whittaker. And it's gonna be an interesting matchup. They're both freaks. I think that it's gonna be interesting to see who has a bigger tank.
Yes.
Because they both have a lot of muscles, a lot of energy.
Yeah. That's a lot to carry around at that size.
Yeah. So I think it's a heavyweight or a knockout waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I got on my list.
Yeah, I agree. I had the same thing. I think 2 Greek gods as far as build, that these guys going at each other. There's probably not been many matchups with guys that are almost identical style, just age, like you said. Costa, I think, may not win this match for 2 reasons. 1, his tank, like you brought up, and 2, we saw the jab that Uriah Hall put on him that Israel said if that was my jab, he would have been knocked out. He does get hit a lot. Costa gets hit a lot. Not big shots, but chipping away, cutting you up. Romero is going to not be in there just for that. He's going to be in there for the 1-punch knockout, the flying knee, the reversal, the reverse elbow. It's going to come down, I think, to tank mixed with speed and overall punches, because if any of them get hurt, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be a recovery hurt. 1 shot, you're done.
Yeah, I've not seen enough of Paulo Costa to believe that he can beat Yoel Romero
in the
at this
matchups.
point.
Yeah.
But he's been very impressive. But Yoel's beat everyone that I've watched him fight except for Robert.
And bad. And very hurtful.
Yeah, so I think Yoel does win, but I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. Another fight that got announced this week is Anderson Silva against Cannonier. And that's going to happen, I think, at UFC 237 in Brazil, which makes me think Anderson Silva's last fight in the UFC.
Big announcement at the end for retirement.
I think so.
Makes sense.
I think it's going to be a tough fight for him. I really do.
What's he, 45?
Excuse me?
I think Anderson's 45 by the time this fight happens.
He may be.
So, at the end of the day...
No, I think he's turning 44 by the time this fight happens.
Okay. I knew he was almost middle 40s.
Yeah,
regardless, that would be a telltale story to go out that way.
Yeah, I could definitely see him hanging it up after this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd
it's
applaud
going to be a tough one to go out with a victory on, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not an easy fight.
But it is a relevant fight, and I think he wanted to have a relevant fight, too. He didn't want to just have a walk away just to get the victory.
Yeah, and I think he wants to stay in the division with a name that's not just a money fight there. Now, some that I've watched, Jared Cannonier fight, he's new, he's younger, he's coming in the division, he's up-and-comer. I think the ring presence and just overall knowledge that Silva has is really going to wear on him. I don't think Jared's going to be able to keep up with the pace. I think Silva's going to hit him with a lot of shots that I don't know if he can just continue to take and not get worn down. I think his tank's going to get hit, which makes Jared not be able to throw his big leg kicks, not be able to put the pressure on you. I think Anderson's going to play smart and then put you out once you're tired.
I think Anderson's going to play smart and not get hurt. I think
it's going to be a lazy fight.
I don't know. I don't see him being super aggressive. I haven't seen him be that kind of aggressive in a long time.
Probably 7 years, that the old school Silva, where he just walked you down.
I mean, since Chris Weidman, he has not looked the same since then. The Bisping fight, maybe.
Bisping fight
was
was different.
Bit of it back, but
yeah.
I think he's going to look to pick his spots. Even against DC, he didn't get hurt against DC.
No, and that's a bigger
lost
man
every round.
But that's a bigger man. Yeah.
But I think he's going to play smart, not get embarrassed, not get knocked out, maybe try and point him. And then always he's looking for the kill shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can set a trap and the spider catches him, then he'll put him out. But I think he loses unanimous decision. But I pray that he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't see that getting out of 5 rounds. But if it does, crazier things will happen.
It won't be a 5-round fight. It'll be a 3-round fight.
Oh yeah, because it's not a championship.
Yeah, it won't be the main event of it. Yeah, I mean it'll be a big fight, maybe the co-main, but
either way, the level. I think you're going to see a level change. You're going to see the difference in a seasoned veteran and a new up and comer. That's for sure.
And then the last middleweight fight that was announced just this week.
Yeah, this was kind of out of nowhere.
Is Derek Brunson and Elias Theodorou. So, what do you think that one's going to be like?
Man, I watched Elias fight earlier this year and last year, and the guy's just really smooth and really well on his timing. I think he's very patient. I think he waits for the right opportunities. He doesn't take a ton of damage, but he'll still throw in there. Derek's come off some rough losses here, between dealing with the Israel fight and, in the past, I think...
he fought Whitaker right after that, I think.
Souza fought him. That was a tough fight. Whitaker, that's obviously tough. He's fought some higher-level guys in there. I mean, Machida, he got a win over. Silva won against him, which was a pretty rough fight.
It was a close fight. I guess that could have gone either way.
I mean, look at this. He beat Uriah Hall, and he also beat against Sam Alvey, who fights at heavyweight now, or light heavyweight and heavyweight before. Yeah. Sam Alvey. So, I mean... he's fought a lot of good guys. It's either his night or it's not. But I think that Israel fight really took a lot of confidence out of him. He's either going to come back on fire, fueling, or he's just not going to be the same fighter. So, I mean, I honestly think, I don't think Elias or Derek knock each other out. I think it goes to decision. Elias tacticianer on it. I think he just gets over on the points.
You think so? I think Derek Brunson wins. I think Derek is
a lot of difference.
Good enough to beat anyone who's not like a serious title contender.
So basically, it's a timing. If you look
at the people that he loses to,
that's a good point.
Like all at the top of the division.
Okay, but
Jacare, Israel.
Kelly was 42 years old in that fight. The guy was literally my uncle's age. Yeah, I'm going to hope Derek Brunson beats you. The guy's not always fighting the cream of the crop.
I think he's beaten the people he's supposed to beat and losing against the top contenders.
But is Elias that next step in the middleweight division, or is he just not? Because the middleweight division's tenacity and just killers is what makes it the middleweight division. You're basically dealing with normal lightweights that punch like lightweights but can cut to 170 or to 185. Yeah. So I don't know. If he can get in the league and he can put it on Derek, that's a big jump. That's a really big jump in the fight.
Yeah, it's really tough right now for anyone to get a run going in the middleweight division.
Yeah, you brought up a great point about that.
We were just talking about how there are only 5 ranked fighters in the middleweight division who have at least 2 wins in a row right now. Everyone else, I mean, they're beating each other up. There's a couple of them on big win streaks. Israel and Paulo Costa are both still undefeated, but no one has three wins in a row or something like that. No. I mean, it's those guys and Robert Whitaker, the champion. So it's hard to get up to the top of the middleweight division, and if you can string together 2 or 3 wins against ranked fighters, then you're instantly the next contender because everyone else
is small window.
Yeah. So that's what's making the middleweight division interesting right now, and. So let's talk about some fights we'd like to see in the middleweight division. Yeah. Do you have any in mind?
So obvious one I'm sure we both have is Israel versus Whitaker. I think it's just going to happen eventually. So obviously I'm going to put it in the rankings. I think Whitaker's new style to the middleweight, because he has a very unique style and he has good timing, good coaching, and just I think he's a different type of middleweight. He doesn't look the fastest or anything else, but he gets the job done. Israel, obviously, we already talked about, just mesmerizing, kind of the new Anderson Silva with his own flair. I think a fight like that would really show the caliber of people that are in the middleweight division to basically say, these two guys are the top right now, and 5 guys below them could be in that same spot, no question asked. It's not like the heavyweight division or sometimes the featherweight division where if you're in the top 5, you're meant to be there, you're the best of that division, no one's coming up close. A top 9 guy could be in top 3 the next week because they're fighting all of each other just in a cycle. So I think Whitaker in the Israel fight's just a different, entertaining middleweight fight to bring people to pay more attention to the middleweight division.
Yeah, I like that fight. I think that Robert Whitaker is extremely well-rounded.
Yeah.
And Israel is the best striker in the middleweight division. 100%. And I think that it would be a very interesting fight. I think that Robert Whitaker has too much going on right now for Israel. I don't think Israel's seen enough at a high level to, I guess you always can catch him.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, Robert's experience is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. And I do think it happens. I think that Israel will beat Kelvin and that he will hold out on to making any more fights until Robert returns. So he's guaranteed that unification title belt. Not that he's scared or anything, but
no.
I think he's been looking for a break. He's been fighting a lot. He's been very active. So I think after this fight, he's got the interim belt in the hand, and this is my ticket to the to Robert's not fighting anytime soon. We're both gonna
take the opportunity.
We know, yeah, we've got 6 months. We can really focus on each other and do it. What I'm hoping happens, or what I was hoping happened, if they went a different direction with the interim belt, I would like to see a Rockhold Adesanya fight
before he moves up, allegedly.
Rockhold moving up?
Yeah, to like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
I don't know if he's going to.
But that's the problem.
Yeah, there's been talk about it.
That could be 3 less fights a year that the middleweight division could get with Rockhold, because when he was active, he was still fighting a lot, and they were all big boy fights. So now you lose a guy that maybe could have fought 2-3 more years in the middleweight and maybe got his belt back.
Yeah, Rockhold has 1 fight in 2016, 1 fight in 2017, 1 fight in 2018, and it was February of 2018.
Yeah, so he's taken some time off. Yeah, so you wouldn't even have got 3 fights out of him, but that's still big boy fights because his last couple fights, Yoel Romero knocked him out cold, obviously. Came back before then and beat David Branch after the Michael Bisping loss. 1 against Rockhold, 1 against Machida. Fought top, huge fighters. He's literally 1 fight away right now, depending on this Costa Romero fight. He could be right back in there going for the title.
And that's why I think him and Adesanya was a good fight.
Exactly.
Because neither of them have fought Whitaker yet.
Yes.
So the winner of that, I think, is the clear shot at
Hits
Whitaker.
the peak.
Because Whitaker has beaten Souza before. He's just beat UL twice. I believe he's beat Weidman.
Yes.
I believe he has. I'm not sure about that actually, but I think that was if the UFC had decided to have Kelvin and Whitaker fight and not do the interim, then I would have loved to see this in the meantime. I'd still love to see this as a title fight, although I don't think Luke Rockhold now deserves an interim title fight. It made more sense. It was not for a title, but I thought that'd be a good matchup.
I like that.
I'd love to see Luke Rockhold get his head
taken
off again.
Bounce
I
off
don't
the
know.
fence.
I was a big Rockhold fan, and then after Bisping did that, I love seeing it happen.
That was such
I thought David Branch was going to do it again, and then Yoel got him.
Yoel really got him. Yeah. Yoel tried to put him through the cage.
Right. Yeah, that was
a great fight.
I like watching Rockhold fight. I don't know how he's still the number 2 contender after a loss.
He's a motherfucker, but he just does not have the chin of some of the middleweights.
Yeah, I think he's skilled as hell, but
he's skilled beyond belief. Mm-hmm. I think his chin does not match his skill.
But yeah, so that would be the other one on my wish list.
I like it. I like that.
So let's say Kelvin and Israel do fight in this interim fight, and Israel wins. Who do you think Kelvin gets after that?
Probably Souza.
Yeah, you think that's the fight to make?
I had that on my list. I said if Gastelum loses or Gastelum's put in a situation where he's not fighting the top 2 contenders. Souza's got a great record. Souza just came off a Chris Weidman win, knockout, which nobody thought was going to happen. That was in November. Okay, he lost to Gastelum. Here's an opportunity to come back and do it again. He's beat Brunson. We know the situation there. Boach. Lost to Whitaker, who obviously is a champ. So Souza, again, like Derek Brunson, has lost to guys that he should have lost to, but has won against guys he definitely should have won against. Israel is the only fight that Derek Brunson's experience should have overtaken Israel, but Israel is growing at such a fast pace that he's blowing through people like Derek Brunson that 5 years ago people were kind of nervous about in the division. He was doing dangerous things. Then a couple fights at high level, same with Luke Rockhold. They're right there at the finish line, then they trip, someone passes them every time.
Yeah, I just think that they fought so recently. I mean, that was Kelvin's last fight.
No, and I agree.
Matchup to make right away.
And I agree as far as numbers go and putting a fight out there and getting pay-per-views or getting people to buy it, that's kind of shitty. But if Luke goes up to light heavyweight, who else you got? Are you going to throw Chris Weidman back in the mix for no reason? Now, granted, if Paul Costa loses to Romero,
I think that's
have him and Gastelum.
Yeah,
because
I think that's better.
2 guys coming off monster losses. Costa, that's his first loss in the UFC, especially against a guy that could have taken him to a title shot. Loses against Romero, hypothetically. Gastelum, same thing. Loses against Israel. Maybe gets beat up, has to take some time off. Comes back, fights, obviously, Chris Weidman, who's had some tough 4 years here recently, who's on a losing streak. Let them bang it out, see the difference.
Yeah, I like that fight more. I
do too. I think that's going to sell more, and I think that fight will be way more entertaining.
Whoever loses that fight
is monstrous.
Should fight Kelvin if he loses. I guess the 2 losers of the 2 fights should fight each other.
Yeah, that's very simple.
That'd be good. Is there anyone outside of the top 10 right now or lower in the rankings that you think is a fighter to watch in the middleweight division this year?
Yeah, I brought up a guy that I've actually been following for about 6 fights, actually. I actually got to watch before he got in the UFC, Antonio Carlos Jr. So kind of a smaller middleweight, but very talented all around. 5-fight win streak right now. Thing that impresses me is, okay, middleweights, like I said earlier, throwing bombs. They're light heavyweights that cut to 185 but punch like a light heavyweight. He's on a 5-fight winning streak. 4 out of the 5 of those wins were rear naked chokes. That's very new in the division to have somebody that heavy on jiu-jitsu or just grappling that's choking guys out where most guys are knocking or finishing guys out. So now Souza's got a great black belt. We know that. Luke's even got good jiu-jitsu but doesn't use a bunch. But I'm talking like your Paulo Costas, your Brunsons, your Jared Canners, Brad Tavares's. People coming in want to bang. This kid's coming up through the ranks, and if he gets a hold of some of these guys, I think he'll show there's a different part of the game. So I think his next fight coming up, maybe get a guy that's, 9, 10, maybe fight Brad Tavares even, see if he can hang it with a higher level. But I see him doing a splash this year.
Yeah, Antonio Carlos Jr., he's another one of those fighters who is on a big win streak. Like I said, not too many in the middleweight division. He's one of them. Is there anyone else you're looking at?
I got what I just talked about a minute ago, Brad Tavares. I think he can do big things. I'm looking at his background and record. I mean, he's not fought any slouches. He was undefeated all the way up until the Israel fight, which obviously we know he lost a decision even. He didn't even get knocked out. But, I don't know. Brad's fought some good guys, but I think this is a time where one big win, again, moves him up the ranks quick. But I just like the way he fights. I think he comes at you and just kind of a new, entertaining, younger guy. I mean, he's 31, but that's pretty young nowadays in the middleweight division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are some younger guys. I was really surprised to see Kelvin's age. Whitaker's also pretty young. Israel, Paulo Costa, those guys are all pretty young. Antonio Carlos Jr., 28.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of guys under 30 who are going to be around for a while, and I think that they're going to continue to beat each other. I think
it's a cycle.
Yeah, because they're so young and so good, we'll see all of them fight all of them.
Which is great because it's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, so I think the middleweight division right now is muddy. Like we said, there hasn't been a title fight in almost 2 years.
That's a great point you brought up. I did not realize that.
there's a lot of top contenders that have already fought each other, some of them multiple times. Who do you think comes out of this year as the title holder?
I think healthy, with the matchup he has next and the possible matchup again with Whitaker, or not again, first time ever by the end of the year, because it's only going to be March next week. I think Israel does take this belt. I think the reason is, if Israel can do his prolonged plan or with a quick knockout on Gastelum, I don't see Whitaker taking the belt from him, because Whitaker basically will watch his belt be taken without him even fighting. I think him beating Gastelum, Whitaker's like, that could have been me. I could have beaten Gastelum. I could have fought Israel right away and beaten him. I think Israel has the momentum right now on this win streak. He's just stomping everybody. But then I could be wrong, and everybody could say you beat a 43-year-old Anderson Silva. That's not as impressive.
Yeah,
and he's knocked out by Gastelum in 2 rounds.
All you can do is win. I mean, all he's done is win.
That's all he knows.
You can't beat someone that's better than the person you're fighting. You can only beat the person you're fighting, and he's beaten all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think he's fought anyone like Robert yet. I think that they're not going to strip Robert.
I love Robert.
He's a fighter. I mean, my understanding is Dana loves him because of it. He won't turn down fights. He has legitimately been unlucky with these injuries, and I heard he was willing to fight this one when the wrong punch or kick is going to kill you, and he's like, oh no, it's fine. I'll go out there and fight, and they wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
So I think he's a great champion for him. He is great for expanding into that part of the world.
Yes.
I guess Israel is as well.
Yep.
But I think that they're not going to strip him, no matter how long this takes. And I think that he will fight this year. I think it'll be against Israel, and I think that Robert will win. So I think Robert Whitaker will be
that'll be interesting
the
to watch.
champion going into 2020. I think Israel Adesanya will be the champion at some point. Like I said, I think this belt moves around quite a bit here in the next several years because there's a bunch of young, really good guys who are all going to fight each other. And it's going to be hard to go on a serious run like Anderson Silva did. So I think that he will be a champion, but I don't think it'll be this year.
Gotcha.
So we can move on to some more news that came out this week. George St. Pierre announced his retirement.
Good for you, George.
Yeah, good for you.
Honestly,
it's been.
What's your thought?
Well, I guess I'm glad. I like watching him fight, but he was not going to be an active fighter, which makes it tough.
Sure.
Coming back for these one-off championship fights that I've already said I'm not a fan of.
Yep.
I think that he sounds like he was trying to get a Khabib fight, and I think because of the way he handled his last one-off championship fight, the UFC was not interested in that, so he said, I'm done. I'm not sure if he's really done. I can't imagine he's going to stop training.
No.
So we'll see. I guess betting odds, I would say he does not fight again, but I would not be surprised if he does. I think he was a great fighter. Like I've said, I don't think he was the best fighter ever, but he's certainly one of them.
Sure.
On the top 5 for sure. And he meant a lot to MMA in Canada, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think he had, one of the greatest careers there's ever been. And I guess the part of me that'll be glad will be the fact that I don't have to hear about, let's make this fight with GSP all the time.
Yeah. Every headline or every new idea with a fight. Yeah, yep. I agree. To me, it makes sense. The guy's going out as healthy as he can be. He's not going to quit training, like we said. He's really into development and training other, younger people up and coming. Just training in general and knowledge. Him and Firas Zahabi, his coach, who I think are maybe one of the best teams out there as far as logistically and logically on how a fight goes. But the guy's had a lot of wars. He doesn't need to take any more damage. He's always going to be a legend. And you know what? To take 1 or 2 more huge money fights and maybe possibly tarnish your career, fighting Khabib, fighting Conor, if he happens to lose those, people will go, why'd you come back?
No, see, I think it's the exact opposite. I think
you think people would honor him for it?
The reason he's taking those fights is because it's house money. if he's never fought at middleweight before and he comes back and fights the middleweight champion and loses, everybody's gonna clean up. It's not a big deal. But if he wins, it's huge.
Yeah,
same thing. He hasn't. I mean, if he goes down and fights Khabib, who's no one ever beaten, and he hasn't fought for years, and last time he fought was 30 pounds heavier. And there's nothing for him to lose. He's still gonna be George St. Pierre. He's like all those fights that happened, they already happened. They're not gonna change. Losing a fight at this point in his career, after coming back after years off, it's not going to hurt him. These fights are. I think that's why he's picking these one-off fights against weaker champions or against legends at different weights, is because there's not an expectation for him to win. People would definitely never count him out, but it wouldn't be a big deal if he lost. And so I guess that's how I feel on the way he's been fighting lately.
I get that. I mean, what if you turn it around the other way and they bring original fights he's already fought back to show at a different age and a different weight class? You bring Nick Diaz back.
Oh my gosh, Nick Diaz. I don't want to talk about Nick Diaz.
Well, I understand that. No,
George St. Pierre anymore. I don't think Nick Diaz would ever take that fight either at this point.
But what I'm saying is, what would be the impact if he lost a fight like that to Nick Diaz compared to the loss of a fight that he's never had? Do you think it's as bigger, less big, that not even on the card? What do you think? Because that fight's already happened. People know the outcome.
No one knows the outcome of that fight. Who do you think won?
George St. Pierre won. Absolutely. 100% between the touches and strikes overall. Yeah. Nick Diaz made George not look like he won because George isn't used to having someone try to walk him down and finish him or tell him he's a bitch and then take 8 of his punches and still walk you down.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz is a different beast. Look what did Nick Diaz say? Look at my face after the Anderson Silva fight. Look at Michael Bisping's face after the Anderson Silva fight. He would fucking murder anybody else under those two. Their face would be butchered.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz went through that fight, did not get knocked out, did not get finished, did not fucking absolutely not have a face anymore, but he took shots. These guys have fought the elite fighters. It's in their past. It's in their blood. Nick always said and accused George St. Pierre of poisoning him and steroids. How unreal iconic would it be to say, fuck it, let's bring Nick back. Give Nick 6 weeks to get in the best shape, clear his system, get all the drugs and alcohol and everything out of his system so he can pass USADA.
That is the only fight I'd like to see with George St. Pierre and Nick Diaz. I just don't think it's a possibility.
It's not a possibility, but if that fight happened, the iconicness of it blows away him coming back and fighting the champion of a weight class because it's legacy.
It is. I mean,
that's my only point.
At least shut up Nick Diaz. He's been talking about that loss.
If you're going to sit and talk, if you're going to be talking 7-8 years up in a hotel smoking weed and fucking posting Snapchats about how you should have been the best. And I love Nick, trust me. Yep. But you got to show up. But you have to show up at some point and say, let my mouth tell me what to walk. That's all it is. You just got to say, well, let's go do it, and either you or me. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think GSP has a whole lot to gain from that fight.
No, and I agree with that.
So I don't think that's one that he would be interested in.
I even wrote it down on my own notes. I'm like, a Nick Diaz fight 4 or 5 years ago maybe made sense. Right now, absolutely not.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre cannot sacrifice his legacy with fights like that. But if it happened, it's monumental. But then you go into what you said. He fought Conor. He fought Khabib. Lose or win, it's a hell of an event for everybody.
Yeah, right. So, congratulations, George St. Pierre.
Yeah, good for you, George.
Don't think we'll see him,
man.
Yeah, don't think we'll see him again, but if we do, I'll watch.
Absolutely.
And the latest breaking news of this week.
Boom, boom, boom.
Interim lightweight championship fight between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier.
Out of nowhere.
Has been scheduled, I think, for 237 also. Or is this 236?
Might have to take a look. Might have to fact check that.
Yeah, I think it's at 236, and it's going to be alongside the interim middleweight fight.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 interim fights. I'm not sure which is going to be the main event, but I'm excited for this one probably more.
Oh, God. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Well, think of this. This is my perspective. I thought today, so when you sent me that text and said, Heads up, Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. I got that at like 7 a.m. I'm like, oh boy. Here's the thing. Dustin Poirier is coming off an Anthony Pettis, a Justin Gaethje, and an Eddie Alvarez, all TKO wins, after having a pretty tough time after Conor knocked him out back in featherweight, and now is up and coming and absolutely an animal, going against a guy that faced Jose Aldo twice, defended, and beat him, and then made Brian Ortega, who was the next upcoming star, fucking jiu-jitsu chokes, movement, knocked out Frankie Edgar, first time in his career, instantly realized he was a young boy fighting against Max Holloway.
Yeah, he just took him to school. And
but that's the best part. Both of these guys are in their prime, in their movement, full steam ahead. Keep Max healthy. I like that Max won't cut this much weight for this fight because that might help him longer. Well, not only in this fight, in his longevity in the featherweight. He makes a monster fucking weight cut. And that's what happened when he had those issues.
Allegedly.
He
won't say what happened.
It was water. I know it was water loading, dude. Dude, the guy was trying to drop 21 pounds in like 2 weeks. That's not healthy.
Oh, you're saying he was trying to
when he was trying to get down for the Khabib fight.
Yeah.
When you do shit like that, that is a long-term, down-the-road situation. But wish them both the best. Stay healthy. Dustin's had that hip going on. I think it's back. They said he's probably 85%. He gets that hip cleared up by then, which I think he will because he looked really good the other day on Instagram. He's been lifting and all of his other pool job fucking workouts that he does over at the Greenery. But besides that, these guys, if they're both healthy, this will be absolutely an unreal fight.
It should be. They're both violent. It's going to be a stand-up fight. It's going to be great.
Yep.
They are both as good as they've ever been. They're both,
this is as cream of the crop as they are.
Yeah, they are
which
both
I like.
as good as they've ever been. And I think, they're both could make featherweight. Dustin Poirier used to fight featherweight.
Absolutely.
Max is a featherweight champion.
It's a good blend to me.
It's going to be fireworks. I think that Max wins. I heard that this fight was offered to Tony, and he turned it down.
What? So I read that this morning. To me, is that Tony being arrogant and saying, I don't want anyone but Khabib or the belt fight?
That's it.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's Tony being disrespected saying, if I turn down one fight, you shouldn't put people over top of me? But
no.
Max Holloway's available today. So's Dustin Poirier. They're both trying to fucking move up in the rankings and also just in general try to be a champion of either division.
Yeah,
you gotta make a move at some point. I'm sorry.
So as excited as I am about this fight, I would prefer it not to be for an interim title.
I agree 100%.
I think
that's my first comment today.
The middleweight fight being for an interim title makes perfect sense. I don't think we need to go through this again with the lightweight belt.
With Conor.
Tony already has an interim belt. That's probably why he said no.
But he was stripped.
He probably just said, no, I'm not fighting for an interim belt because it doesn't. I already fucking did that.
It's not real.
It didn't mean shit. Yeah.
But the problem with that is that there's an interim belt that's stripped. Why would there be an interim belt that's stripped and then nothing comes about it until now?
Yeah, I think that, the interim belt for this division is bogus. It is.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So I don't know why you attach that to
but maybe the hole's already dug because it's happened before. They got to do it again. And trust me, as fans, how many people want to see Max Holloway fight in general? He could fight a trash fucking bag, and I'll watch. But he fights Dustin Poirier, who's coming up in the rankings right now that just jumped A La Quinta, probably would have either fight Conor next or Tony no matter what happened. Whether Khabib can't fight at all in the next 6 months or anything else.
I want to see that Nate Diaz fight big time.
I do too. My problem is time is a ticking. And the thing is, if Nate Diaz fights anybody in 2020, that is a long fucking absence.
Yeah.
Especially since he had a fight set up with Dustin this year.
No, that's the fight I wanted to see, is the Dustin-Nate Diaz fight.
But my point is if that fight would have already happened, which it would have, we would be talking different. Nate's over here talking and joking, talking to Dana, and they had that joke, I'll be back, and Dana's like, okay. He's like, yeah, you're not going to be back, because you never be back, because you're brother and you never commit. But that's the problem, is Nate Diaz in 2020 He's going to be an older fighter, rusty fighter, not been in any constant action. Are we missing out on the best times we could have him right now in the lightweight and welterweight division?
Yeah, I'm honestly not too into a Nate Diaz-Conor rematch.
Absolutely
but
not.
I was so into that Nate Diaz-Dustin Poirier fight. I thought that would be a great one. I thought Dustin
it was such a mix.
Yeah. So I think that obviously the winner of this fight has the interim belt, so they get Khabib when he comes back. And I think that if
do you think Khabib comes back fresh, or do you think Khabib comes back and takes another 6 months and then makes the perfect fight? Because he's not worried about money. He's worried about legacy, and he wants what he deserves. Even though he says can't be a $2 million fight or less.
Force him to fight whoever holds you. Well, I don't know. Maybe they won't force him to. They didn't fight Tony.
That's my point.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's what I worry about is, are we going to have the dark black cloud triple, quadruple fight that never goes through, Khabib versus Ferguson?
Yeah, well, so why? Yeah, I don't want to.
It's scary.
Make it anymore.
No, I don't.
That's why if we get this interim fight, then we're past that. Whoever has that interim belt has it. It won't be Tony.
I love them both, but I do not think it's the time they'll work that. I don't.
No, I was surprised by the timing announcement. I guess it makes sense if you need a UFC 236 headline.
Sure.
But Dustin Poirier has very recently been yapping about how he wants to be released from the UFC.
That'd be a bad move right now.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I think if Dustin did that, he'd be very surprised how long his career just got extended in a not positive way. But regardless, that fight is going to be interesting. It's going to be great for both fighters to be able to say, hey, we're both top elite. One's got a belt, another one is looking for the belt. Yeah. Weight class or not, those are two elite fighters that'll show how high the level gets.
And I think if Max wins, which I think he will,
I agree.
He will go back down and defend featherweight before he comes back up to fight Khabib. So he won't.
He can yo-yo.
Yeah, it'll be fun. He won't have to wait for Khabib to come back in November. He can go down and fight in featherweight. And then come back up and unify the belt in lightweight. Max
benefits in this fight tenfold just for the sheer fact that if he loses, it's not going to hurt his reputation. He still can go back down and defend the featherweight, like you said, stomp people there, and then have another crack back at Khabib or Conor up in lightweight.
I think at lightweight, Max beats everyone except for Khabib.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I think.
I think the only other person that's going to give him a hell of a time is a Tony Ferguson for the cardio and tenacity of just pushing you on the fence, clipping you with elbows, everything else. Max is used to that, but is he used to the power and strength of a lightweight?
I think, yeah.
Because Tony's not big by no means. We all knew that.
Yeah.
But Tony does shit in there that when it touches you, it'll put you out.
He's got sharp elbows, but I think that Max is
his technical game.
Yeah, he's so good, but he also I don't think that. I mean, Tony's cardio is great, but he's not gonna push Max too hard. Max's output is as good as anyone.
Oh yeah, now he doesn't have the harsh weight cut. He's gonna even have more.
Yeah, I don't.
He saves 10 pounds. You fucking kidding me?
I wouldn't be worried about Tony outpacing him or anything like that.
I don't worry about an outpace. I worry about Tony doing shit that breaks Max down, and he will still win. But I'm talking cutting eyebrows open, getting bloody, getting in the grappling game, getting in the fence game to where he's like, dude, I've been hit with 16 elbows and it's the first round. This sucks. I got to do this for another 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. That's what I worry about with Tony. Yes. But at the same time, Max could come in there and box Tony's face off. Tony goes in for jiu-jitsu and Max goes, oh, watch this. I know how to reversal, and I'll fucking choke you out mainstream right now in the middle of the floor. So the all-around game of Max is not super 100%, but 89 to 90% of his game is untouchable to anybody's division. Between Bantam all the way to maybe fucking welter. I mean, I know that's greedy. I think if Max weighed his normal weight and got built up, he could fight a Mike Perry and fuck with him. From the distance.
That's a lot of weight. I don't know.
It's a ton of weight in the wrestling division. It's not in the keeping distance division. But that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Max's offense his stand up is like just sitting there boxing with Tony is going to be worlds better. I think Tony's offense elsewhere is better, but I think Max has good enough defense that he's going to shut it down and force the game to where he wants it. He's very good at distance control, and like I said, I don't think. I mean, 5 rounds going as fast as you can. He's the one who can do it. Yeah. So I see him being very successful, except for Khabib's going to give him issues, but who knows? I mean, I wouldn't count him out of that fight either. So
yeah, I agree.
Let's move on, and we will recap last week's UFC ESPN1.
First podcast also, by the way.
Yes, right.
We blended that together one day, which was interesting. Nice 10 hours, huh? 10 hours at my house. That was awesome.
But the card overall, I thought was great. I thought it was a
fantastic card.
Great opportunity to showcase MMA on ESPN. The main event itself, maybe a little bit lackluster, but that's how fighting goes.
Yep.
First fight you want to talk about is Luke Sanders defeating Renan Barão. And this was an interesting fight because Renan Barão is no longer at the level he was. He is a previous bantamweight champion in the UFC, and he looked pretty good until he looked unconscious in this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened, I believe, early in the second round. I probably would have scored the first round for Barão.
Yeah.
He looked like he was with it, and then the second round he got caught a couple times, and he ended up seeing stars.
Yeah, the problem I have, like normal, is that was the second weight cut miss that Barão's had in back-to-back fights. So that's tough one because people are already disappointed you're not making weight. Then you go and get starched like that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to give him credit. I think TJ Dillashaw took the soul of Renan Barão a long time ago. And I think that's what's really hurt his career. And Luke Sanders is an absolute nightmare on the hands. He's got hands that are fucking ball mitts, but he's a bantamweight. When that guy touches you, you're going to go out at that level. So I think Luke is exactly on the length and rope that I thought he was going to be. He's going to come in, make a statement quick, climb to the top. So I think it was a wonderful matchup fight, just didn't go in the hands of Barão. I think that it's time to retire and save the will that you got left.
Yeah, I think he probably ought to be cut.
That's four to five fights in a row that have been lost for him in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not, like I said, he looked all right, and then he was done. In the women's flyweight division, Andrea Lee defeated Ashley Evans-Smith. Yeah. And I thought she controlled most of the fight.
Yeah.
I think she should probably be in the top 10 after this.
Yeah, she definitely skips up.
You got anyone in mind for her?
Maybe a Paige Van Sant.
I think both of them are coming off wins.
Yeah, they're both coming off wins.
Paige just fought, so there'll be similar preparation time.
Took no damage.
Right.
Andrea, I apologize, took a little bit of damage.
Yeah, hers was a full fight. So.
Yeah, so she had a full fight there. But, and give props to Ashley Evans-Smith. She's tough as son of a bitch. I just think it was timing. Andrea Lee is just very good on the ground, very good wrestling. Paige obviously is a little different, a little bit flashier, throws a lot of punches, a lot of kicks, a lot of switch kicks. That's an interesting fight because, like you said, they're both coming off of wins. Maybe get in there, do something a little bit different. Same time.
Yeah, I think Montana De La Rosa is also coming off a win in February. About the same ranking in the division, so I think that's another one.
And she's moving up very quickly. She's on a 4-fight winning streak. Amazingly, all 4 subs. So Andrea Lee likes the ground. Let's see how Montana does on the ground. See if we can get a little choke out.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you who looked really good, I thought, was Aljamain Sterling against Jimmy Rivera.
Yep.
He really controlled the distance. I think it was a different type of fight for him, really, than I'm used to seeing. But I thought he was very impressive. Using kicks, jabs, controlling exactly so that he was always in range of striking, and Jimmy Rivera was not. I thought he was pretty dominant, and I think that he'll get a top contender. Yeah,
I agree. A lot of people remember the highlight reel with, Sterling getting knocked out with the foreleg of Morales came in on that. That shit's going to happen. I think he's got the speed. He's got the will. Beating someone like Jimmy Rivera, Jimmy Rivera now has one loss against Sterling on a knockout, same exact knockout against Marlon. He beat John Dobson. Sorry, John's really not a threat in this division. He just happens to make a lot of decisions. He doesn't knock anybody out. I'm sorry. He just doesn't have the power. That's a huge win over Jimmy. That's going to catapult him up to, if I think Sterling wins one more, like you said, he goes to fight for a belt, maybe a fight after. If the cards fall well, especially with Dominic Cruz possibly being out. Jimmy just lost. Rafael just lost. Cody Garbrandt's getting ready to fight Perez. I think Sterling is definitely going to be a guy we could see fighting for the belt in 2019.
Yeah, I think there are probably two options for Aljamain's next fight. Marlon Moraes is going to fight for the belt next.
100%.
I don't know when that's going to be. It may be after TJ fights.
It could be after
again.
TJ because they want to see where the division lays, especially with Cody's fight.
I think if... so Marlon will wait to fight until after the TJ Cejudo fight because he'll fight the winner of that.
Yes.
I think Aljamain's going to need another fight. So I think that the fights to make for him are either Dominic Cruz if he wants to come back,
which would be terrific,
or the winner of the Cody fight.
Which makes sense. He's earned it because, again, not to keep bringing it back, but this is a similar division to middleweight. A lot of hands are going to change. A lot of people are going to move up and down quickly. And also, a lot of people are going to see each other multiple times in several seasons. So I would love to see Cody beat Perez. If he doesn't, I'd love to see a new blood like Perez come and fight somebody like Sterling, making it interesting.
Pedro Munoz.
Pedro Munoz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, not Perez. Pedro Munoz. That fight alone will jump either guy to be able to fight someone like Morales or fighting Sterling together. It'll go back and forth.
Yeah,
those top 7 are going to trade a lot.
I think the winner of that fighting and Aljamain Sterling makes the winner of that the next contender.
Yeah.
Following.
And John Lineker, don't forget about John Lineker. He gets lined up with any of those top 5, he could be the next 1, 3, or 2, real quick.
Following that fight, we had Andre Feely looking pretty good.
My buddy, Touchy Feely, man.
Defeating Miles Jury. What do you think about that fight?
I watched that fight over again, and on paper and watching the fight, it almost looks like Jury won because he threw a lot of nasty, reversals, shortcuts, big punches on Feely that didn't look like they stung him a lot, but they were good, clean punches. Feely just ended up outboxing him and outmoving him at some point. He had a couple takedowns, he had a couple good strikes, a lot of leg kicks inside. A lot of leg kicks, they don't get the points always you want, but Feely threw, I think, like 27, like a lot of inside leg kicks.
They were both throwing jabs, leg kicks.
And yeah, it was constant volume.
Yeah, they both were throwing the exact same combinations, the exact same looks. They had very similar builds, very similar reaches.
It was a good matchup.
It was a
overall.
fun fight to watch. Yeah, it really
and I'm
was.
happy for Feely. I think Feely will end up fighting a top 10 guy here soon in the lightweight and featherweight.
I don't think it'll be his next fight. I don't know that he gets ranked guy next, but I think if he with another win, he's back.
Yes.
He's right back in the mix.
But I think the problem is Feely's also been talking about possibly moving up to lightweight.
Oh yeah.
So we could see what happens there. But he's pretty lean. Could be a problem.
So my favorite fight of the night was Vicente Luque.
Yep.
And Brian Barberena. And they were just nailing each other. I cannot believe Brian Barberena lasted until the very end of the third round. And I don't think Vicente Luque could either.
No, I think he was amazed. You can
see in his eyes, what is it going to take
he's
to put this guy out?
He's throwing the kitchen sink at the guy,
Yeah. I think that Luque should be ranked after this. He's on a great winning streak. He's finishing guys. The welterweight division is pretty tough. But I think that he needs to be up there with the ranked fighters at this point.
Yep.
This fight was great. I'd love to see both of these guys fight again as soon as they are healthy. I think that they could be on a main card again, especially since with their visibility on ESPN.
Yep. People know who they are now.
I guess maybe high expectations for their next fights. But I think that both these guys are going to do well because of this fight.
And, there's a lot of flashy guys in that division, too, and that's good for that division because there's a lot of knockout power. There's a lot of flashiness, like an Alex Oliveira. Fight one of those guys, but, yeah, hats off to both those guys. Entertaining, probably the best fight for me of the night, honestly, as far as just trading.
Yeah, the welterweight division is so deep. I think any strong welterweight against both of these guys is going to be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
So the fight after that was Crone Gracie.
Yeah.
And
UFC debut.
Yeah, he was the first Gracie to win in about almost 25 years.
Yeah, isn't that
over
wild?
24 years. It was also, I believe, the 5,000th fight in UFC history.
Wow.
So for Gracie to win the 5,000th one is interesting, but I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, very clean.
First round submission. He did not look bad in stand-up, and as soon as he got a hold of him, he let him tap.
And Cixeras is not a killer, but he's also no slouch in that division. Like, it could have been completely opposite. Cixeras he's got great ground and pound. He could have done the same. I think Crone is just at a different level because of the legacy of the Gracies and the jiu-jitsu and his family.
Well, his jiu-jitsu is clearly fantastic. It's just
it's another world.
MMA that's going to be different than the rest of them.
Can you trade when you need the trade?
There hasn't been any successful Gracies in MMA recently.
No.
So we'll see. I'd love to see him get matched up with someone who's ranked to see what he's really.
Can you imagine him against Brian Ortega down the road?
No, I wouldn't want to see that.
2 jiu-jitsu specialists with the hands. Yeah. But Ortega's got a fuck ton behind that arm.
Yeah, I don't even think I'd want to see him go up against jiu-jitsu specialists. I'd rather see him go up against someone who's not into jiu-jitsu to see him.
No, I just meant like for a championship one day.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
No, in the featherweight, you know who you need to get out there? Get out somebody like a fucking Jeremy Stevens that just came off he's going to fight Zabit. Let's say he loses Zabit. Put Crone in there with someone like crazy like Jeremy Stevens that just throws absolute hay piles at your face.
I think that's a big step up in competition for Gracie.
It is, but by then Gracie might have already got a good fight in.
Darren Elkins is like on the very end of the division. He's coming off back-to-back losses. The very end of the ranked part of the division.
And he was climbing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good opportunity to see how good Crone is.
That's a good point.
Also a good opportunity
that.
Darren Elkins to bounce back.
I like that.
That fight was followed by Cynthia Calvillo, who defeated Courtney Casey by decision in the women's strawweight division. What did you think of that fight? Because I actually was a little bit surprised when they announced Calvillo as the win. I thought that Courtney Casey looked stronger in the ring.
Casey definitely looks sharper. I think the bulldog, just bull rush that Calvillo has a lot of times makes it look like she dominated the fight more. Dude, that girl is just absolutely a man in a woman's body. She loves the fight. She'll tell you she likes hurting people. She likes getting in there. I think the look of that fight from the Cynthia style compared to Courtney, Cynthia looked way more aggressive than Casey, but Casey was playing a technical fight. Moral of the story.
Yeah, neither of them ever got in trouble. That fight could have gone, I don't know how many rounds, but it was not in any danger of ending at any point. No. I really thought it could be scored either way. Either way, I think Cynthia Calvillo is going to be looking, I think she called out Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah, which is a great call. It's just if Dana will make that fight. But Dana said he'd be happy to make that fight if it was the right date.
So, yeah, we'll be looking at her. I'm sure she'll get a ranked opponent next.
Nice.
And we'll see how she does. Paul Felder and James Vick. So, Paul Felder won this at lightweight. He'll be ranked following this fight.
Yeah.
He also had a punctured lung as a result of this fight. Yeah,
and the finishing of the third. And didn't even see it on his face. But apparently both his lungs are good. He's recovering. But, yeah, apparently at the end he had a shot to the ribs that pushed into his lung and punctured it. Still finished through with a decision win. Now Vic's going to lose his top 10. Paul's probably going to fall into it.
I think Paul will be up around top 10.
Maybe 11 at the worst, but yeah, he'll either be 10 or 11. But Paul, the cool thing about him is I think he fights both. He'll fight lightweight, welterweight.
I don't think he'll fight welterweight. He fought welterweight because
Mike Perry.
Yeah, he fought Mike Perry at welterweight. He came in on late notice because he was already on the card.
Oh, no. And I'm not saying he should ever. I think it's great to see a guy that has fought in 3 different divisions. And whether he lost or won, he decided, I'm going to go into a bigger guy division.
Oh, yeah. He's not going to say no to a fight.
I'm going to fight everybody, and you give me the time and opportunity and money prospect. You got to remember, this is a guy that paid Donald Cerrone at the BMF Ranch $500 a month to say, can I train here, live here, and eat off you? And he's like, yeah. And then now this guy is possibly a top 10 lightweight. I don't know if he'll want to fight featherweight ever. That's a monster cut for him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think lightweight is exactly where he should be. He smashes guys, throws a lot of elbows. He's really mean. And he's a terrific commentator, too, so it's great to see him fight, then come back to commentary, and then see him come back. He's kind of a dual threat to where he's an entertaining for the fans.
You got any ideas for his next opponent?
You know, with the guys that he's got lined up in that division, maybe having somebody, because Paul fell on some hard times, maybe have him fight Alexander Hernandez, who just came off a loss to Donald Cerrone. Mm-hmm. Let him have another crack at a top 10 guy, and then let's say he doesn't even get in top 10. Now, I know who you want. I know you want Gillespie to go against Paul Felder, but I think Gillespie needs to go way above the rankings.
Yeah, I think
He's
that for Paul
deserving of
Felder,
it.
that's a good fight.
For Paul, not for George.
But I would think
Or
that
Greg.
Gregor Gillespie, I would love to see him fight Kevin Lee, which I said last episode. But I think the loser of the Edson Barboza fight against Justin Gaethje.
God, what a fight.
I think if Gaethje beat Vic, now Felder just beat Vic. I think the loser of that fight, Edson and Barboza, and Justin Gaethje, would be a great matchup for Paul Felder. I think
it's going to be entertaining.
Who knows when it's going to happen, though? He had a punctured lung. I don't know if he's been cleared to leave the hospital yet.
He's going to have 90 days easy. I didn't see his, but normally if you have any internal like that, it's 90 plus.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be out more than that. I'm thinking it may be 4 months before he fights again.
Yeah. Which is okay.
Which is fine. 4 months before Gaethje fights again. He's been really active.
Yeah.
So I think that...
I like that.
That would be who I'm looking to see. I think it's a good opportunity for both him to move up and for the loser of that fight to bounce back.
Yep, I agree.
And then that was followed by the main event of the night, and that was Francis Ngannou knocking out Cain Velasquez 30 seconds into the first round. And to me, that was pretty disappointing. I wanted to see that fight play out more. I thought that both of them had more to show. Apparently, Francis did need to show more.
Oh, my God.
He just hits that hard. He hit him at some point. Cain's knee buckled, and he fell over, and the ref had to call the fight to save Cain's life. So that's where we stand. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, he didn't knock him out. He should be credited with the KO." But either way,
you can't.
That's the end of the fight.
You got a guy throwing around orchestra chairs for hands, going 90 miles an hour. Like it's. In a split second, Cain could have went from being totally fine to being unconscious and a vegetable. Like, you have to stop a fight. And Cain's never dropped like that. Cain's only dropped one other time like that, and that's when he had the fight with Verdum. He's never been manhandled. He wasn't manhandled that night. I think it was a timing of there was so much power behind Ngannou with a buckled knee. It was just bad timing. That's all it came down to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do?
He made $450,000.
I saw that. You know, at the end of the day,
it's good for Cain.
Yeah, you got to still pay bills, man.
I hope that he's gonna return. I hope that that's not how he goes out. I agree. I think he will. I think he's gonna come back and have more fights this year and work his way up that division. I thought that he was just going to be entered in at the top, but he is going to need to work up, and we'll see how it goes. Francis's next fight, it's got to be either Stipe or DC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, after we talked last week, and obviously we talked for about an hour of how we thought Cain was just going to do completely opposite of what we're talking about now and what we expect the outcome, but that's MMA, folks. So, cool thing is, Stipe or DC is absolutely a phenomenal fight. Everybody wants to see. It's deserving for Ngannou. This is a guy that's been fighting 5.5 years, grew up in a sand pit for a job digging sand for his country in Morocco and got out, was homeless on the streets, learned how to fight. This guy deserves to get this shot. He's got the power. He's scary as fuck. He's huge. Let him go fight the big boys again. He's already fought Stipe. He's never fought DC. Let's see the caliber of people. And then after that, if you can hang at the top.
Stipe.
No, I agree.
I think you give him a chance against, if DC won't fight, DC wants to wait or whatever, I think you give him a chance against Stipe.
Yeah.
And the winner of that, how do you turn down the winner of that if you're DC?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
and especially that'll be right around the time, probably early 2020, that DC will be looking to retire. DC's not going to retire this year. He's going to retire in 2020. That is going to be his year.
Yeah, I think that Francis and Stipe can fight.
Three fights could happen between then.
Put him on 237.
Yep.
Put him on 236.
Hell, put him on 239. Wait longer.
Why? What are we waiting for? Stipe's been waiting for a year.
No, I'm talking about for if we could get DC in that early.
Oh, okay.
If Stipe fought now because he's available, he's healthy. You also have Ngannou that's available and healthy. Do it now. Beat what I just said and get in fucking DC in 2019, but they won't do it. But if
DC's going to fight in 2019.
If DC has this true back injury, that's why I'm saying he may not. They should.
He's going to fight in 2019. If he doesn't fight 2019, then I would be really surprised.
So,
but
anyway.
So that was the UFC on ESPN1 card.
Yep. Very great card again.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the fights going on tonight. Or I guess this afternoon.
February 23rd. Started at 11 a.m. for the prelims. Started at 2 p.m. Eastern time, both.
Right.
For the main card.
The event is happening in Prague, in the Czech Republic. So the co-main event is Stefan Struve against Marco Rogério de Lima. It's a heavyweight fight. And I'd love to see Stefan win one. I do too. He's coming off a few losses now, and for him to turn around and bounce back and be relevant in this division again, I think would be a good thing. He's only 30, so he's young.
He's only 30.
Yeah.
How long has he been in the? I mean, what, 11 years?
Seems like he's been around a while. I don't know.
My gosh. Good for Steph.
I think that he will use his size to his advantage, and I think that this will go to decision. I think that. He's gonna try and outpoint him, and I hope he does that and he's able to become relevant.
Yeah, Marco, nobody really knows about. Nobody's obviously had him ever fight a high level. Let's be honest, Struve's been around a long time. He's only ranked number 15th, but he has fought the elite. And for people that don't know much about MMA, he knocked out and beat Stipe Miocic, who was the current heavyweight champion. So Stefan has not gone against some high-level guys. I actually went for Marco for an early sub or maybe possibly just a decision. I switched my idea yesterday on Friday. I think Struve gets a knockout, either first or second round. I think the length and the height difference, it's like a 9-inch height difference. That's a motherfucking problem.
Yeah, I saw him at weigh-ins. Going toe-to-toe, and that's a
big man. And I mean, the other, Marco is very thick and strong and a wrestler, but Stefan still has fucking good power. I think he gets that range. He's just going to end up boxing this guy's face off until he gets the right punch. But we'll see tonight.
So hopefully that's an entertaining heavyweight fight.
Yeah, I think it should be.
The main event is Jan Blachowicz, I think it's how you say it.
Very nice.
Against Thiago Santos. And I think the winner of this is the next title contender.
I do too. We talked about it last week. This is so much riding on this fight, especially with what's going on right now in the lightweight, heavyweight division, especially with Bones next week going against Anthony Smith. Either one of these guys could fight the loser of that and then fight the title.
Thiago is not fighting the loser of that. And the last time Anthony Smith lost was Thiago Santos.
100%. But the reason I say that is because I think Thiago Santos is going to knock out Ian tonight. And I think he's going to jump up the ranks and say, "This is my weight class too, Anthony Smith. I'm coming for your head."
I don't think he has to go for Anthony Smith. I think the winner of this gets the next title shot.
You think they actually move right into the title shot?
Yeah, I don't know who prevents him. Jan's already fourth. Behind Anthony Smith.
Sure.
Anthony Smith is getting his title shot now.
But look at his wins. He's got Kariner, Jimmy Moana, who everyone's knocked out, and then Nikita before then. I mean, there's guys behind him that should come back to be able to fight him. I mean, Volkan even could. Volkan's 5. He's 4. How's that a big a difference as far as look at their records? Volkan's fought the same type of fighters that Ian has. Don't let him go right into fucking fighting there. That's why I said...
That's why Volkan's beat the same type of fighters, but he already got the title shot.
I understand that.
So now it's Jan's turn.
I don't know. I'm not saying either of them. I'm saying even if Santos wins, I don't think Santos goes for a title shot. I think he fights Anthony Smith, who just lost the Bones, then move up. I think that happens also with Jan. I don't think Jan goes right into fighting John Jones. I don't.
I do
not think his background of his last 5 fights, which he lost to Durkin Cummings, who's been knocked out by half the division, he lost to him, but then had 4 wins in a row. That 2 of them were subs, 2 of them DCs. Anthony Smith obviously lost to Santos. That doesn't mean he jumps him. He gets a rematch to try to prove again that he's better. Then he goes and beats Anthony and goes up.
Anthony Smith right now is getting a title shot after beating who?
100%, because at the timing he beat Volkan, DC was already dealing with his fights, and now we don't know what's going on. Mauricio was coming back. We know Rashad was almost dead and a commentator. This was at middleweight with Thiago. Remember, that was a huge weight cut for Anthony. And then Hector Lombard, Jesus. He's a Mack truck that can't move and has zero gas tank.
Also a middleweight fight. He's fought
still
three
a
times.
tank.
He's fought 3 times at light heavyweight.
Okay, no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I don't think that you can say that his record at light heavyweight is more impressive than Jan's.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is neither of their records mean jump right into a championship fight. Go and fight the loser of the most recent champion, then go.
Okay, so who does the champion fight?
Nobody. They wait.
Oh, no, you cannot have the champion wait. That's the issue. You got... Yeah.
The reason
Jones
I say
is
that,
trying to be active
Jones
this year.
is trying to be active. What stops him from going to light heavyweight to right to heavyweight and say, fuck it, there's some guys over here that want to get murked. I'll let these guys diamond out because there's so many
The thing
good
that stops
fights
that
here.
is because he's not fought anyone in the light heavyweight division. So they're all new fights.
It's true. 100. I get that. Absolutely. My point is, right now with DC moving up to heavyweight probably only, John's trying to go there. And you have Gustafsson that just come off a loss to Jones, and now you have Anthony Smith who's probably going to lose to Jones. You can't just keep chipping guys off and say, all right, go and fight the champ, chip off again. You have to have some fun.
That's exactly what you do.
Well, I mean, you can, but it's going to get real fucking old for viewers that every time there's a John Jones fight, he's not going to lose. We have to make it...
What do we do with that? You just don't have a John Jones fight then because he's never going to lose?
You have to have other entertaining fights to build up that fight. It can't just be go fight John Jones and lose and then whoever's next fight. That's going to get fucking old, man.
No, dude. That is exactly what we haven't seen for years that we should have been seeing.
I know, but that's the personal bias of you loving John Jones thinking that.
No.
There's other people that want to see other fights than someone always win.
Then watch those that are not championship fights.
Okay.
But you got to still have a championship fight.
I get that part. I'm just saying you have to look at it from a normal person's view that doesn't dig in like us. They might not want to see the same guy fuck everybody up every time and then go, well, who's next? I don't know. Somebody's fighting a fucking pointless fight on the prelims, even though they used to be number 2 and number 3 in the division.
That's exactly what everyone wants to see.
Well, then if they want that, then they need to get it over early and have Jones move up to heavyweight and
that's
say,
exactly
fuck
what
it.
I think is going to happen.
Okay.
He's going to have three fights this year, 3 fights very soon against just pick 3. Pick 3
like
of the top contenders. Say, all right, when you guys are good enough, I'll come back.
Yep.
Then you move up. And then you've cleared out the division. But for him to go up out of the division right now and take a fight doesn't make sense because he hasn't cleared out the division. That's what I think. I think that either Thiago Santos or Jan, the winner of tonight, fits the bill. They should get the next title shot. And so let's go ahead and watch that, I think.
I think this is a perfect time to watch that. Hey, man. See you guys next time.
All right, that was a good one. And we'll be back next time.